Good morning. Good morning, everyone. How are you all? How is everyone this morning? Good morning, Burns. How are you this morning? Good to see you. Good morning, Kay Renee. How are you? Welcome in. Welcome in. It has been a long night for many, I'm sure. If you have been up watching the election here, and we're still yet waiting on results. So I hope you all didn't stay up too late. I stayed up a little bit late, but I said I got to get some sleep because this is going to be a long road. Good morning, Mama FOS. How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. Let me get my phone going here. I hope everyone is well this morning. Good morning, Harrison. How are you? Welcome in. Welcome in. So I hope you all got some sleep and you're not just continuing your night. I know I definitely had to get some sleep. So I appreciate you all being here. This is the ABCs of communicating. You are well. Good, good. Everyone is good. Good, fantastic. Thank you all for being here this morning. All right, so yes, this is the ABCs of communicating. My name is Ruth Finney. And this morning we are going to be talking about one of my favorite subjects, actually, which is validating, one of my favorite things to do in communicating, validation. I like to always say that if our words don't elevate or educate, then we need to eliminate them from our conversations, right? We should be intentional with our words. And when we speak things that are not elevating or educating others, when we're just, or, maybe entertaining, you could add that in there because sometimes we do like to talk to entertain, then most of the time we probably need to eliminate those things from our conversations because they're not edifying someone. And one of the best ways to elevate people in a conversation is to validate them, I enjoy validating, and validating can be used in so many ways. It makes it helps everyone to feel good, right? To know that, to be validated. Who doesn't enjoy being validated? When someone agrees with you or has the same opinion as you, or has the same thoughts or ideas, then it feels good to say, yeah, exactly. I feel the same way. It makes us feel good, and it helps us to know that we're on track. It draws people in because like-minded people tend to be drawn to each other. And I mean, we know opposites attract as well, but also like-minded people attract each other as well. Now, one of the biggest misconceptions about validating is that you have to agree with the person, and that's not the case. You don't necessarily have to agree with what they're saying just to validate them. And to my point, an example of that is like, I can say flying is dangerous, or I could say flying is scary, or I can say that flying is very risky, right? Now, that very well may be the case. And I can say, and I may be able to validate that, yes, flying is dangerous and flying is risky, but I don't agree that it's scary, right? Because maybe I fly all the time and it doesn't bother me at all. But I can certainly understand why you might be fearful in flying. And I can validate the way that person feels, yet not necessarily agree with the fact that that it is scary. So that's what I mean when I say we can validate people, we can validate their feelings, their emotions, their thoughts and ideas without necessarily agreeing with them. So agreeing with the person to validate them is not a requirement. It's not a necessity, right? We're basically just stating that we understand why you would feel that way or why you see things that way. So I want to talk about some of the different things and some of the different ways that we can use validation in our conversations and how it can be beneficial, because there are so many benefits to validating others. And if this is not a practice that you do regularly, then try to learn. I want you all to learn some different ways that validation is important and beneficial to our relationships so that we can begin to incorporate it into our relationships and into our conversation on a more regular basis, because it does have so many benefits. So yes, if you are watching, if you're new, please hit that like button and join this talk family if you and subscribe and to join this talk family. So the first thing I want to talk about is how validation is a trainer, right? We can use validation to help train others, to train our children specifically. We, as children, we look to others always from very young, as a very young child. We look to people to be validated, to validate our thoughts and validate our emotions. Is it okay to feel this way? Is it okay to do this? Children look to their parents. They look to, their teachers and other educators or mentors, different people in their lives to validate what is good and what is not good. Because often what gets validated in a child is what gets repeated. And it's really the same even as we move into adulthood. So if I validate that this behavior is okay, that is acceptable, then 9 times out of 10, I'm going to repeat that behavior. If we do something that's working well and people tend to respond positively to it, that makes us feel validated in what we're doing or what we're saying or how we're behaving, and we'll tend to repeat that behavior. So validation is also a trainer. Good morning, Jazzy TV. How are you? Welcome in this morning. Good to see you. Good to see you. Please hit that thumbs up as you come in. And this morning we are talking about validation, how we validate others, some different ways that we can validate people. So validation is a behavior. It helps us to set healthy boundaries. We can use validating to set boundaries as what we should or shouldn't do, what is okay or not okay to do. So we can use validation in that way. Another way that we can validate people is validation is also a comforter. We use validation to comfort others. When people are having extreme emotions, good, bad, whatever it is, we validate when they're experiencing something difficult or unpleasant and they're having a hard time trying to figure out what's happening or how to respond to it. We help to validate what they're feeling by a lot of times just expressing to them, yes, I understand what you're feeling. I understand why you're feeling that way. I can imagine that this would cause you to feel this way. We hold their hands. We put our arms around them. We love on them. We pay attention to what they're saying. We put ourselves in their shoes. We empathize with them. And that helps us. We sit with them and comfort them and let them know. And these are ways that we validate what they're feeling and show comfort for them. It's comforting to know that when someone is having an extreme emotion, when they're upset, when they're angry, when they're sad or hurt, that we validate what they're feeling, that we comfort them through validating them. Yes, you should be feeling this way. I understand why you are angry. I understand why you're having this extreme emotion, why you're upset, because if this happened to me, I would feel the exact same way. So when we're listening, when we're paying attention, we're showing them that they matter, that we care, that we can relate to what they're feeling. And that is a comforter. That is the way we use validation, as a comforter, comforting them through their emotions. We do this with children. We do this with our friends, our family, and even with complete strangers. We'll see someone having some extreme emotion and we'll walk right up to them. Are you okay? Are you feeling okay? Is there anything I can do for you? Right? We begin to, can you let me know what happened? Are you comfortable with letting me know what happened? What was your experience? And so we begin to jump right in and comfort them through validating them. So validation can be used in so many different ways. Validation is also encourages justification. We use validation to justify the things that we do, the things that we say, and things that we continue, our behaviors, ways that we continue to behave. So when we let people know that we understand what we're feeling or that we can imagine what they're going through, then it also justifies decisions that they make. So for instance, just yesterday, I was at work and I was speaking with one of our custodial workers in the building who has family down in Mexico. And she has a sick nephew who has leukemia. And she came back, and I noticed that she was, walking through the building, that she was very emotional. So I said, "Are you okay? How are things going? How was your trip?" I knew she had just gone down to visit her family, and she was, still very, emotional about it. I could see it in her eyes. And so I asked her, how was her family, how they were doing. And she went on to tell me about how her nephew has leukemia and the struggles that her sister was having in trying to take care of him, because the healthcare system down there is definitely not here. So they don't have the same resources. They don't have the same access to medication. They don't have the same access to supplies, and the supplies and everything that they do have, they have to pay for. So they have to pay for bed checks and medications and things that we do here, but they have no help. A lot of times we have health insurance, we have Medicaid or Medicare or different resources when you don't have money to be able to receive healthcare, the things that we need, and they don't have that down there. So she struggles tremendously trying to take care of him, trying to get him the medication that he needs, the supplies that he needs, and trying to come up with the money. Everything is just 10 times more difficult. And she was explaining that to me, and I could see, the pain. And I thought, oh my goodness, I can, I was practically in tears myself listening, because I could imagine, what it would be like to see someone that you loved be in pain. And he also, the young man also had autism and struggles to communicate. His words are limited. So even though he's in a lot of pain, he's not able to express that pain the way a normal person would. And so that's also part of the struggle in trying to figure out what he needs, what he's feeling with limited conversation. And so needless to say, I was right there with her, feeling that pain and understanding. And so, and the last word she said to me was, though I love my country, I love where I'm from. And she always is, elated and lit up when she comes back, because it's very beautiful where she's from. She said, this is why we come to America. Her last words was, this is why I live in America. This is why I brought my family to America, because as much as I love my country, we don't have the same benefits. We don't have the same resources. And my nephew is dying, and we can do very little about it. And so she also, she says, but I live here. My family is here. The majority of my family is here. And I'm able to help, through working. She's able to help send resources back to her sister and her nephew. So she used, so that what she was feeling helped to justify why she made the decision to come here to America. So when we help validate others, her going through that, her seeing that experience validated why she made the decision to live here in America. So validation can also be a justification. We can use that to justify the decisions that we make. Like, yes, this is why I'm doing this. Yes, this is why I'm making this effort. This is why I'm making these moves. So when we're moving into a different job, or when we're wanting to make a change in our life, or a different decision, or even why we vote, right? These are the reasons why I'm doing this. So we use our validation to help justify our behaviors, our actions, and the words that we say. So it's very powerful, a very powerful way to justify validation. Validation is a very powerful way to justify the things that we do. Validation is also an elevator and a motivator, right? When we are able to validate different things in life, it can elevate. We can use validation to help elevate people and to help motivate people. And this is one of my favorite ways to use validation, because we encourage people to do things that they think that they may not be able to do. So for instance, if I remember just a few years ago being in Jamaica, and I was with a group of ladies. We were doing a girls' trip, and there was a young lady who could not swim. She couldn't swim, and we had gone to a place where there was water involved, and there was no swimming, but there was climbing in water. And she, you could have easily slipped and fall, but she was so scared, but she wanted to do it, but she was fearful out of her mind that she would be able to do this. And so I said, you know what, you can do this. If we're doing this, we're here with you. We're going to hold your hand. We're going to walk you through going up this Dunn's River Falls is what we were doing at the time. For those of you who have been there, very beautiful, beautiful place. I said, we're going to hold your hand. You're going to hold on to us, and we're going to help you climb up this mountain, right? Because it really was a steep mountain to kind of climb up and very slippery. So she very easily. Good morning, Eve. Good morning. How are you? Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate you being here. Good to see you. And so I began to tell her, you can do this. This is not impossible. If the five of us can be here holding your hand, you can do this. And so she reluctantly but willingly held on tight to our hands, and we slowly walked her up that mountain. And she just had the most amazing time, because she was able to realize that she could do something that she had never would have attempted had we not been there to encourage her and validate her into knowing that she could, and that she was not alone in the matter. So we have to be, it helps when we validate people, it helps people be willing to take on risk. And that's one of the ways that I love using validation. I love validating people, to show people how powerful they are and not powerless. When the enemy tries to show us that we're powerless and tell us that we're powerless, that we don't have it in us to do what we're wanting to do, then all it takes sometimes is a little validation from someone, a little encouragement to be able to say, hey, yes, you can do this. This is not impossible for you. Times that we want to quit. Anytime we face something that we want to quit, I use validation to remind people, why would you want to quit over here? Like, for instance, I had in relationships, I had, a friend who was ready to give up on her relationship because she thought, I'm never going to figure, how to communicate with this man. I'm never going to figure out how to hold on to this relationship. I struggle with this. And I had to remind her, wait a minute, I don't ever see you quit on anything. She was an extreme exerciser and takes on all sorts of activities and, Spartan races and all that kind of stuff. And she does not quit. She's not a quitter. So I said, why on earth would you give up on your relationship with this man who you love and care about, and let the enemy make you feel like you can't do this, that you don't deserve this, that you can't have this in your life? Absolutely, you can. And so, it just gave that. So validating her and reminding her that she's not a quitter helped her to continue in putting in that work. And today she is now married for 1 year now, happily married for 1 year now. So when we validate people, validation is a powerful tool as an encourager. Is a powerful way to encourage people to do things that they don't think that they can do. It helps connect the dots and paint the pictures sometimes when we can't see what it is that we're trying to do. So for instance, if you possess a gift or a skill or a willpower or the energy or the talent, and you think that you can't, but yet you see something that you think is unattainable for you, then when we validate people, when we remind them that, hey, I saw you do this over here, and if you can do this over here, you absolutely can do that over there. If you have the talent to do this, you absolutely have the talent to do that. If you have the skill and the willpower to do this, then we can help them apply it to that same thing. So it's sometimes people just need to connect the dots when they feel that there's not anything, that there's something that they cannot do. So validation helps paint the picture. As long as they have the will to do something and the skill set or the ability, and even if they don't, we can encourage them. If you can learn this, if you can take the time to learn this or get this much education in this, then absolutely you can do this over here. And so that helps encourage people to stay in it. And so we need to incorporate validation in our conversations. with our family. If you can be good to your less, like you can tell someone, if you can be good, someone struggling in their relationship, struggling in their communication with this family member, if you can be encouraging and loving or kind to this person over here, this stranger or this friend, or then certainly you can do it with this family member. It's just a matter of willpower. It's a matter of, fighting against those things that are challenging for us. But to say that we can't, that it will never, that it's not possible is not true. So you have to remind people that if you can do it here, then you can do it over there. It's just a matter of applying that same energy, that same love, that same kindness to the other person. And it can be challenging. I'm not saying that it can't, but to say that it's impossible, we can't let that enter into our thoughts. So I want to talk with just some different words that we can use to incorporate in our conversations that helps to validate people. Something simple we can say is, I see you. I see you. We don't know how many people walk through the world not even knowing whether or not they're even seen, especially with children. I see if I'm in a room and I see 5 or 6 kids walk in the room, and I see the ones that are social butterflies, communicate with each other, connect with different people, they're talking this and that. And then there's that quiet one off to the side, that doesn't like to talk or doesn't want to say anything, or they're kind of, just going along because they don't really know what to do with themselves. Then that's the one that I go talk to. That's the one that I make sure that I speak to. Hello, how are you doing? What's going on? Where are you all coming from? I engage in conversation with that one. And that lets that child know that I see you, or that adult or that person that new person that you see walking into your building at work, or that new person that walks into your church, or whatever it is. If they're coming and you see that they're new, then I see you. We do it right here on YouTube when someone new comes into the chat. That we haven't necessarily seen before. We look at them, we speak to them, we acknowledge them. That helps to validate people. Just speaking to them, just acknowledging them that I see you. Welcome in. Are you new here? Or is this your first time here? Whatever it is. When I go out in my neighborhood and someone I knew that I run into and they say, "Oh, are you new to this neighborhood?" It's like, no, I've been here 6 years. But that it just helps to validate that, yes, I see you. Another thing to say is, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. Some people think that they're not being heard, that they're not being understood. And we can say that I hear you. I hear you. I understand what you're saying. So right here, Eve says, exactly. And a lot of times that quiet one shies away from attention. Yes, they do. They do shy away from attention. They feel self-conscious. And I often even try to find ways to compliment them as well. "Ooh, I love that. It's a cool shirt you have on," or "I love your hair," or "Those shoes. Look at where'd you get those shoes?" Or just something. I find something on them to any jewelry they may have on. I find ways to validate or compliment something that they've done, because that helps to validate people. And you can do this to children and you can do it to adults. When I have a coworker comes in and they're wearing a new shirt, I'm like, "Oh, it's a new shirt you have on. I like it." These different things that we incorporate in our conversation helps to validate people, that we recognize them, that we see them, that we're acknowledging that they exist, that they have a presence on this earth and in this room. And so we absolutely have to let people know, I see you, I hear you, I understand what you're saying. Or we can say, yes, it shows that we are listening. It shows that we're listening. It shows that we're paying attention. It shows that our focus is on them when we say that I hear you, I understand what you're saying, I can relate. I've been there. I've experienced that. I know exactly what you're talking about. Those are things that we can incorporate in our conversation that helps to validate people. We can also let people know that they are smart, that they are strong, acknowledging, "Wow, I can't believe you just did that. That was excellent what you just said. That was wonderful that you showed such strength." And being able to deal with that, or being able to overcome that, being able to accomplish that, helps validate people in the things that they're able to do. When we remind people how powerful they are, who they were created to be, how smart they are, just the little things. It just gives people a little internal boost that gives people confidence, that gives people encouragement, and that gives them the will to want to, do more. It's like, oh, yeah, I did do that. Wow. Well, thank you so much for seeing that. Thank you for appreciating, what I've done. And it can be something small, and especially like kids who we see that are troubled, or adults that we see who are depressed, adults that deal with anxiety. Those are the people who absolutely need our validation the most. When we see people who are depressed, or see people who are struggling with anxiety, wow, you did that. You accomplished that. You made that step. No matter how small it is, just acknowledging the little thing that they did helps give just a little bit of encouragement, a little bit of courage to do that next thing. It's like, okay, I did that. I'm growing. I'm getting better. Anytime I see someone who's saying something who typically wouldn't say something that they typically wouldn't say, I was like, wow, you held your own with that, or you said that in a way that was really effective, or I really think they heard you. I think you're making headway. Or I see you, getting your mouth under control, or that tongue under control, or your emotions under control. I acknowledge people when I see them putting forth any level of effort to be better. And that's what we have to do. We have to encourage people to be better and acknowledge whatever little bit of effort they're putting forth, because that's what encourages them to keep going. That's what validates their behavior, validates their words. Or we can say stuff like, I've seen you do amazing things. You've achieved so much in success. If they're concerned about whether or not that they should take on a new task, or a new job, or a new venture, a new project, and they don't know whether or not they should do it. They don't know whether or not they have the skills. They don't have the abilities. I've seen you accomplish so much. You should have no hesitation in taking on this next thing, because of how I've seen you apply what you have and who you are to that thing. You will absolutely be successful in this thing over here. So there's so many ways that we can remind people that they are kind, that they are caring, that they're giving, that they're loving, all these things that the enemy likes to implant in our minds that we're not. We have to remind people that they are. I've seen you be kind to this person. I've seen you be loving towards this person. So therefore, I know you have it in you to love. I've seen you be caring. I've seen you be giving in this way. So I know you have it in you to be able to give, to be able to show care and concern. All these things are so effective in encouraging people and moving people to that next level, in elevating them and educating them and reminding them that there is nothing that is impossible to them. And that's what the Lord ultimately wants us to know, that there is nothing that is impossible to us. All we have to do is take a step and be willing. And this is how we can encourage people around us, people who live with us, people who are in our circles, people that we encounter each and every day. We validate people to be better. I appreciate you doing this kind thing. When we see a stranger in the street doing something that just see somebody being kind to another person, we can go to that person and say, hey, I saw what you did. I think that's pretty awesome. I think that's awesome that you opened the door for that person. Or I think that's awesome that you helped that person put their groceries in the car. I think it's phenomenal that you, did this good deed, because that encourages them to do more. That encourages their behavior because now they did the good deed, but now they also see that someone else saw them do the good deed. Which just reinforces and validates that action that they took and encourages them to want to do more. So these are the things, if we want to see change, if we want to see improvement, if we want to be a part of the change and be a part of helping people to do the things that they thought that they couldn't do, this is how we can begin to take little steps to encourage people to create change. Okay. Yes. Nothing is impossible. As long as God is in control, there are possibilities. That's right. The possibilities are limitless. And I love encouraging people and validating people to show them that there is nothing that is impossible for you. If God tells that to us, that there's nothing impossible for us, we repeat it. We have to walk in it. We have to walk in it. And this is how we encourage people to walk in it. And we encourage ourselves. We encourage ourselves to walk in that possibility as well. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and pray us out. Tomorrow, I have a lesson coming out. This week, I've been focusing on the children for the most part, because this is for my month of November. I'm just focusing on different family topics. And so this week, I've sort of been focusing on the children. So you'll see a lot of my lessons around children. And then Friday, we have the letter W, and I'm not sure what the W is just yet, but we'll be back here for the letter W. And then on Saturday night, I have a very special guest coming on. Harrison Family Vlogs will be here. He is a marriage and family, he has a master's in marriage and family therapy. And so I will be doing a panel discussion with him on how we are to talk with our children. And improve our communication with the kids and encourage them, how we can encourage them to have healthy communication in their relationships as they grow into adulthood. So I'm very excited. Yes, Harrison, you will be here prayerfully, Lord willing, Saturday night. And I'm moving that time Saturday also to 8 o'clock, not 8:30. I typically meet on 8:30 on Saturday nights, but since he's on the East Coast and it's be very late, I will move that time Saturday night to 8 o'clock. So please, you all come through and listen to this great man of God who has much to inform us on with children. He works with children every day. He teaches fourth grade education's up in New York. And so I'm very excited to what he's going to bring to the panel. So please come through and hang out with us Saturday night at 8 o'clock. Okay. So I'm going to say a quick prayer and then we'll be headed out of here. All right. Father, I just come thanking you this day for who you are. I thank you for your love, your grace, your mercy. I thank you for the way you validate us each and every day. You remind us of how much we are loved. You left us this word, our user's manual, that gives us so many words of validation in the Bible that we can use and apply to our lives. Help us to be kind and loving and validate others in the things that they say, the things that they do, to be an encourager, an elevator, a motivator, to help people feel justified in the things that they do, reinforce good and reinforce positive behaviors and actions in the world. Father, I thank you for how you love on us, how you died for us, and all the things that you do for us each and every day. So help us to show that sort of love and care and concern and kindness, to be willing to open our mouths to pour into another person through validation. Remind us that when we are validated, that we help encourage people and remind them that there is nothing that is impossible to them, that the enemy has no power in our lives because of who we are. When we are your children, when we belong to you, when we've accepted you into our lives, we are literally limitless in our power. So help us to remind each other of that and validate each other with our words as to who we are as children of light, children of the King, children of the Almighty. So Father, we thank you. We bless your holy name. And these things I ask in your Son. Bless each and every person. Help us to go make it our mission today to go out and validate another person, another adult, another child, another teen, whoever enters our path. Give us the mind, give us the thoughts, give us the words to validate someone that we see today. I love you. I thank you. And these things I ask in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen. All right. So I will see you. Good morning, Sid Love. How are you? Welcome in. Welcome. We're headed out. We're headed out. But please catch the replay if you can, or if you were listening, you're just coming in to say hi, hello to you. I appreciate you being here. I hope each and every one of you has a good day. I will have my lesson out tomorrow. I'll see you on Friday and also prayerfully on Saturday as well. All right. You all take care. Have a beautiful day. And we'll continue to be patient as we watch this election, roll out. So, all right. Take care. Have a good day. Love you all.